How does a $5 copay sound to you? Well, we're going to find out. Stick around. How's it going, everyone? I'm Joey Giangola with Giangola Insurance, and today we're going to go way deep on Aetna's Gold $5 copay plan and really just go line by line and tell you exactly what you need to know when you need the policy to work. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, wow, $5 copay, that sounds pretty cool. Well, we're going to go actually, break it down for you, see if this is actually going to make sense and if it's a plan that you maybe should be considering. But you're obviously looking for more information, so let's jump behind the computer right now and give it to you. All right, so here we are looking at Aetna's Gold $5 copay plan. And yeah, $5 is a pretty low number for a copay. We'll get into that in just a second, but we're going to start at the top like we always do. So we've got our three columns. We've got our member benefits, our in-network, and our out-of-network columns. And these are going to basically tell us, one, what service we're looking at, how it's going to be treated, and two, we're going to be dealing with the dollar amount or the benefit amount in which they're going to be covered. So let's keep in mind here, we're going to primarily focus on the in-network benefits, as that is going to be, at least I hope, 90 to 95, maybe even 100, I would suggest 100% of how you're going to be viewing this plan. If for whatever reason you find yourself in an out-of-network situation, well, I hope that there's some extenuating circumstances or a very good reason in which that has led you to that. So, but anyway, starting right at the top, we're going to just, again, focus on the network side of things, but you can just see the different dollar amounts, which are in most cases much higher, or percentages, which are much higher on the out-of-network side. But for the in-network deductible, $1,400 for a single person or $2,800 for a family. That simply means that that is the dollar amount that you're going to pay up front before you get into this second line, which is member coinsurance. Now, the deductible and coinsurance, they're kind of, if you view them as kind of, let's say, relay points in a race. I don't know if you want to look at it that way. Not like you're trying to get stuff done, go to the doctor, but go with me here. But the point is that your deductible is going to come first. That's the first leg of the race. So once you pay that $1,400, then you're going to hand it off to your coinsurance, in which you're going to split the bills 80-20 with Aetna. Aetna's going to take 80% of the bill. You're going to pay 20. Not a bad deal. That's about as standard as it comes. 80-20 is a pretty commonly referenced number when talking about coinsurance and health insurance plans. And you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to continue that process of paying 20% for your medical bills throughout the course of the year until you either hit $5,000 for a single person or, again, $10,000 for a family. So paying 20% on bills is going to take a while to get up to those dollar amounts, but if and when you do, then all of your covered services are going to be taken care of for the rest of the year. So again, notice that's called, that $5,000 and that $10,000 limit is your out-of-pocket maximum. Very important number. You're going to want to pay attention to that on any health insurance policy that you're looking at. $5,000 and $10,000, it's a little steep for my blood. Obviously that's the number you want to keep under control as much as possible, even if it means a slightly higher deductible too, because I'm a big fan of, low out-of-pocket maximums in relation to, that being the most important benefit that you want to kind of go after. Now, one special note here, if you look on the out-of-pocket max side here for the out-of-network benefits, there is no limit. So basically you can pay forever. It doesn't matter how big the bills get. If you're out of network, they're just going to keep coming. Not something you want. That defeats the entire purpose of health insurance. Next comes the signature benefit of this plan, and that's a $5 copay to go see your primary care doctor. So this is the guy, if you have a sinus infection, you're going to this doctor just to kind of be the first line of defense. $5 in network before the deductible. So you don't have to meet that $1,400 or $2,800. $5, done deal. You can bring a $5 bill and you're good to go. You don't see much of that. I mean, the best you're going to do in a lot of cases, $20, $25, more realistically, like $30, in some cases $35 for primary care visits and other plans. So this is definitely something that is a lot different than most other companies and plans. Then things fall back into line a little bit with their specialty visit copay. So if you need to go see a doctor that has an IST at the end of it, ologist, radiologist, anthropologist isn't a doctor, never mind. What are those doctors? You know what I'm talking about. cardiologist, come on, the list goes on forever. If they've got a ist at the end of their name, then you're going to be paying a $40 copay, again, before that deductible to actually see that doctor. So that's about in line with most plans. So that there's nothing special there if you're having a plan that does have copays. Now here's where things are going to get a little redundant, as in most of the stuff after these copays here, if you don't have a set dollar amount attached to it, you're going to go into the coinsurance after your deductible. So when you see 20% after DED, which is deductible, meaning you're going to pay that $1,400 or $2,800 first, then you're going to start splitting the bills and paying your 20% for where we're at here is a hospital stay. So hospital stays, if you have to go into the hospital, you're going to pay the full discounted rate of the bill up to $1,400 or $2,800. Then you're going to split it 80-20 after that. Same thing for outpatient surgery. If you have something that's done really quick, you don't have to spend the night in the hospital. Again, full bill of that procedure to your deductible, then you're going to split it 80-20. We're going to dip back into the copay section a little bit, just briefly here. For emergency room care, where you're going to have to pay a $250 copay after your deductible. So this is becoming a bit of a trend with companies to where they're hitting you with a copay after the deductible, so they're not sending it to coinsurance, which I'm gonna have to do some digging on this. I really honestly don't know if that's a deal for you or not, but it's definitely normally you see, if there's not a copay here, it's again just the deductible coinsurance kind of rule of thumb. But you would notice that the copay is going to be waived if you find yourself admitted to the hospital. So if it is indeed a serious enough condition that you went to the emergency room for, basically if it was a real emergency, they will waive the copay and it's just going to go towards your deductible. Urgent care, you're going to have a $75 copay. The deductible is waived. So just like the specialty visit and the primary care visit, your urgent care visit, $75 one-time fee, and you don't have to pay towards the deductible. Now we're going to move down to preventative care. Now you'll notice in parentheses here it says age and frequency limits apply. So usually, once per year, or if you're at the recommended age for certain testing, for example, like 55 is a big age to where if you're after 55, you can get certain tests done. Those are things you're going to want to keep in mind. It all complies with basically the mandates as outlined in the Affordable Care Act. That's where all this preventative stuff is kind of being dictated by. And it is going to be covered in full, deductible waived is what it says here, or basically free of charge. If it meets the guidelines for a preventative service as stated by the policy and the law, then you're not going to have to pay anything for it. You're not going to get a bill. You're just going to make sure that your doctor bills it or codes it like a preventative service. Next, we're down to diagnostic labs. So that's if you have to get any type of blood testing or they got to run samples on something or other. Whatever the case is, if it's going to the lab, you're going to pay to the deductible and then again split the rest of the bill 20% after. Again, same thing with x-rays. If you're having an x-ray done, 20% after the deductible, and same thing with your imaging scans. That's like a CT scan, MRI, all that fancy stuff. If you're getting stuffed in a tube, you're going to be paying 20% after the deductible. We're going to jump down here to vision, and you're going to notice that this is basically just going to deal with pediatric vision, and when we get to dental next, pediatric dental as well. So you'll see you get one visit a year for the eye exam. That's going to be covered in full before the deductible. So if you have a child, they'll go ahead and have that visit, not have to pay anything once a year for the vision exam. For the dental, the checkup and preventative dental care, you're going to get 2 visits a year, again, covered in full before the deductible. So just like the preventative services, they're not going to have to pay anything for that. Basic dental care, well, that's going to be a little different. You're going to have to pay towards the deductible. So again, $1,400, $2,800 for a family. And then you're going to have coinsurance of not 80-20, but 70-30. So you're going to take 30% of the remaining bills after the deductible. And finally, we're going to round things out here with the pharmacy benefits. And you're going to have a separate pharmacy deductible in-network of $250. If you slide over to out-of-network, you can see it's going to be $500. But you're going to have to pay $250 to any medications first. And this is going to be separate of your medical deductible. So this is going to kind of work in its own little world, if you will. And then you're going to have a couple tiers. This is where things get a little bit confusing. Aetna has not done you any favors in this area. They've added just a little bit of extra confusion to the whole tiering system for the generic, preferred, and non-preferred brand name medication. You're going to see they have the preferred generic drugs broken up into a T1A and just a T1. The T1A is going to get you a $3 copay before your deductible. Your T1 is going to get a $10 copay before the deductible. So again, you won't have to pay that $250. You're just going to pay the $3 or the $10 depending on the type of medications. However, once we move out of the generic drug split tier thing, we're going to get into a little more usual structure. Your preferred brand name drugs, so basically these are the brand name medications that Aetna is on good terms with. You're going to pay $35 after that $250 deductible. So you pay the first $250, then $35 every time you have to fill it. Non-preferred, so if it's a brand name drug, they're not all that crazy about $70 after that $250 deductible. So every time you fill that medication, $70. Now, if you find yourself on a specialty drug, they're pretty rare. I don't have a ton of people, that find themselves in this situation, but I do know people that are in a situation. If you do find yourself on a specialty drug, this is where things can get a little expensive. So they've gone ahead and gone with, again, a split tier within the specialty drug, just like the generic drug. They've got preferred and non-preferred, so that's what the P and the NP stand for. So preferred, you're going to have to pay your $250 deductible, and then you're going to pay 30% of whatever that cost is after that. Non-preferred, as you can see, 50% of the cost after that $250 deductible. So that is where things can get a little pricey. Keep in mind, this all falls under your out-of-pocket max, so you will never, at the end of the day, pay more than $5,000 or $10,000 for anything that is covered under this plan. But these are the types of things that you're going to want to do the math on and figure out if it's actually going to work out for you. All right, so there you have it. There's a complete detailed breakdown line by line of how the Aetna Gold $5 copay plan is going to work for you. Obviously, there's some unique things to that plan, and it's not quite going to stack up line by line to some of the other plans that you may be considering. So what I want to do right now, the next step here in this process for you kind of understanding health insurance, you've been on this journey for a long time, you really just want to get it taken care of so you don't have to worry about it anymore, is, well, let's go ahead and actually compare these plans. Let's see how Aetna stacks up with Anthem, with Medical Mutual, with InHealth Mutual. And let's see if this plan is going to be able to stand up to the challenge next to other plans and if it's actually going to be the right fit for you. So go ahead, click right here on my face, and that will go ahead and we'll take you to that process to where we're actually going to start to look at these plans side by side and how you can actually go about making a good decision. So, but of course, as always, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I'm Joey Giangola with Giangola Insurance. Take it easy, everybody.